Well, hello, everyone. John Brenneman, president here at MOAA Vacations. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. We appreciate your patronage and joining us for the upcoming signature group to Iceland. I am joined today on camera with my sister Lisa Brenneman and Kristen Gillespie. They are the two hosts or tour guides. Not tour guides, those are the Colette tour guides. So we'll go with hosts. They're the two MOAA vacation hosts that will be with you through the entirety of your trip in Iceland. Each bus will have a tour guide. They will kind of go through with you, and I know Sawyer will talk about that. They are the professional tour guides that are going to show you around, kind of manage everything and take care of everything. But we like to have a MOAA vacation host as well. They will be more interactive with the group while the tour guides are doing a lot more of the technical. And so they're there if there's anything either Lisa or Kristen can do to make your trip more enjoyable, please flag them down and let them know. Lisa and I escorted the tour of Germany Signature Group last year. Kristen just got back from doing the Columbia River Signature Group. So both of them have experience doing this. And they truly are there just to make sure that you guys have as much fun as possible. Both buses will also have MOAA leadership on board, Jim Carmen and Jim Fogo. Jim Fogo is the chairman of the board, and Jim Carmen is vice president there at MOAA. They are there to not only ensure that you have a wonderful vacation, but if you have any MOAA questions, it's a great opportunity to talk to MOAA leadership and talk to them about what's going on, what's coming up, and any ideas that you might have for MOAA and what they could do going forward to continue their message, or rather their goal of never stop serving. So a lot of people are going to be there to make sure that this vacation goes flawlessly, that everyone has a wonderful time. A couple of things I wanted to talk about. Colette did include name tags that went out to everybody. If you've gotten your documents, you can just put those up on your souvenir board, or in your dream chest, or whatever it is. We will actually have MOAA Vacations name tags for everyone. They will be with lanyards. We do that for all the signature groups. I know a number of people mentioned that, Kristen reached out to me and asked me how I wanted my name, and I didn't want Jonathan. I wanted John. The MOAA Vacations name tags will be correct. So, and then the second thing, just trip insurance. I know the majority of you have it. If anyone hasn't purchased it yet, we strongly recommend that you consider it. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but if you haven't purchased insurance yet, feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you about what your options are, because we'd hate for someone, Columbia River, it was unfortunate, but we had a whole group of people, and then the one couple that had medical issues was like one of only two couples that didn't have trip insurance. So not doing a hard sell, but we just want to make sure you know the risks that you're taking. So with that, Kristen, did you want to say anything other than just hi, everybody?
No, I think I've talked to almost everybody via email over the last couple of weeks. So, so if you have any questions, feel free to email me at any given time, but we'll definitely try and go over, as much as we can here on this webinar. So,
and then Lisa, you can just wave, but, and I just wanted everybody to see them, meet them kind of. I know you probably talked to Kristen. A lot of you might have talked to Lisa, but just to kind of see them to know who's going to be with you for the duration. So without any further ado, Lisa and Kristen, if you guys want to turn your cameras off, you can. Keep them on if you'd like, but I'm going to turn it over to Sawyer. Sawyer is with Colette Vacations. So Sawyer's going to kind of go through some of the nitty gritty, some of the questions we think everybody's going to have. I think it's going to be some great information. And then some of you emailed questions, but there's a Q&A. So as you think of questions, as Sawyer finishes up, just drop them in the Q&A, and we are here to answer all of your questions. So Sawyer, take it away.
Perfect. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and excited to join you today. Appreciate everything, John. My name is Sawyer Schutz. I'm the Regional Director of Sales for the Central U.S. With Colette. So I've been with the organization 12 years, and we are super thrilled and excited to play a part in this MOAA Signature Group. And it sounds like you all are going to have a wonderful time. Iceland is one of my favorite countries in the world to send our travelers to. I've been fortunate to go twice. So I love every inch of it. I love the people, the culture, the scenery is out of this world. And I think the time of year that you're going is a really great time to be there. So, all things considered, this should be just an absolute wonderful experience, and we'll kind of jump right into it. So hopefully everyone's had their documents made it to their home yet. If not, I would not be surprised if those make it in over the next day or two, probably hitting everybody's door in the next 48 hours or so. I have a sample version that I'm going to share my screen now and be able to go over that with you. So hopefully everybody can see this okay. This is an e-version of what those sample docs would be. So when you get that packet, and that's what I really want to focus on today, is really setting the expectations for Iceland, the tour itself, how are things going to operate and work, and we want to give you an opportunity to ask any question that you all might have. But, so when you get the documents, every single one of you would have had that personalized for you. Everyone, as as John mentioned, you're going to have a MOAA name tag, so you can leave that one at home. You've also got luggage tag. You will have a plastic and a paper luggage tag. So that's really how we identify whose bags are traveling with us. If you want to put the paper luggage tag, the plastic one on before we depart, I think that'd be no worries. The paper, you might want to wait till you get into Iceland before you put that on, just in case something were to happen to it in transit. But at the end of the day, if you lose it between now and then, our tour manager Greg and Hilder will be happy to help and assist with you on it. You'll also have a couple of loose pieces of paper in there as well. One will be the hotel contact information list, which is also going to be found in the packet that I'm going to go over here now. The great thing about that, it's the same information in both. So if you want to leave that 8.5 by 11 piece of paper front and back, it'll have all the hotels, the addresses, most importantly the Colette emergency number that's staffed 24/7. You can leave that with family or friends, and if there's something that happens at home, if they're not able to connect with you, maybe you're not going to have the international calling plan, things like that we'll go over today, they can call the Colette 1-800 number and let us know for any emergency that we have. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause for 1 second. If you want to follow along with me in your document packet, I'll kind of let you know where I am. I am not going to read this to you cover to cover. I just want to make sure I kind of go over the pertinent, important information, and then anything that I didn't cover for you, we'll open it up for questions and let you all have it. So, if you look on the very front cover, you'll see your name. You would also see your booking number. That is a personalized reservation for you on the very front cover. When you open it to the inside, you'll see this page that I'm looking at right here, which is your included services page. Obviously, everyone's going to have the land package, but some of you might have air with Colette, some of you might not. So, if you have land with Colette, we'll probably have your transfers taken care of, all of that as well, your choice on tour. And then also, if you are land only, if you have purchased transfers with Colette, it will show itself here. So that's how you'll know all the things that are included. So going on to the next page, here is the 1-800 emergency line again for Colette. Now, this is staffed 24/7, 365. If there is an on-tour emergency, or we're having an emergency as we are departing and traveling on the way to Reykjavik and to Iceland, let my team know. Now, I go back to some of you having Colette Air, some of you might not have Colette's Air. If you are at an airport and there is an on-tour emergency and Colette has your air, I would definitely recommend, if something happens, call my 1-800 number, so you can let my air team know so we can work on it on your behalf. So, the best way, in my opinion, as we navigate the airports is working at the service desk there. If there is a delay, a cancellation, and let's knock on woods and hope nothing happens. But if for some reason there is an issue, you've got the Colette support team. Now, if you don't have our air, my air team cannot assist, but my emergency team is happy to make any reservations. But since we do not own your airfare reservation, I don't want to confuse anybody. I just want to keep you all straight that if you have air with Colette, my air team can help in any emergency. With your air reservation, if my team you do not have air with Colette, you're happy to call with us, but you'll be probably working with your MOAA travel advisors and the airlines directly if there's any issues. But anything that you need to know, this is a great number, fully staffed 24/7. You also, at the bottom of it, will have some insurance information as well if you have my insurance. So this sample documents did not have insurance, but in this page, you'll have your plan information. Anything that you need to know about an insurance claim, which I hope you don't have to use, is right here. It would be right after the emergency line numbers. Got it. Next thing we want to go over is your transfers. If you have transfers with Colette, you're going to see this information right here. It'll have the time at which the transfer takes place, and it'll give who is providing it, which will be Reykjavik Excursions, and it's going to give you clear instructions. So, the great thing about Iceland, there's many wonderful reasons to want to go visit. It's about as short of a flight to mainstream Europe as you're going to get from the East Coast. So most flights land in very early. If you have transfers with us, it'll be provided by Reykjavik Excursions. Your time will be listed here, and this is what will happen. Upon arrival, make your way from the arrivals gate to passport control. After passport control, proceed to the baggage carousels. There'll be signs that walk you right through this and collect your luggage. Once you've gathered your belongings, proceed down the hallway through customs, then exit through the double doors. Your representative will meet you once you enter the arrivals hall. So I want to set the expectation for one of two things. As you make it out of the arrivals hall, you get through customs, you've got your bag, you are heading to meet your driver if you have transfers with us. Be on the lookout for one of two things. Be on the lookout for a Colette logo sign, COLLETTE, or someone will have a sign with your name on it. If for some reason you cannot find your driver and you need help, you've got the 1-800 emergency contacts here that can do it. After doing this twice, you cannot miss them. You walk out of the door, you walk out, and you're going to be standing right in front of all of the drivers. You can't miss it. So this should be really cut and dry and easy. But if for some reason there's any issues at all, you've got the emergency team to help. But this will be different for everybody. So if you see a different time here, don't panic. This is just the sample docs that I'm going through today. And that would be at 8 a.m. And then on the departure transfers home, we'll have two tour managers on this tour, Greg and Hilder. Those will be your two tour guides that will be with you 24/7. I'll talk more about them in just a minute, but just know you'll have a time set here for a departure transfer to go back to the airport, but one of the two guides will be communicating and confirming that time with you. So you have nothing to worry about on the back end as far as departing back home, the transfer. You've got that all squared away. They will reconfirm that time with you. Just some, and again, I don't want to read everything word for word. Please make sure you've got your passport with you. I absolutely would take a picture of it with my cell phone of the information page, or I would have a Xerox copy of it. If it were to get lost or stolen, having that is worth its weight in gold. And it's, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it's not a fun experience to go through. So, you know, please make sure you know where your passport is at all time. Make sure you have it with you and on you flying through the airports, and not having it in your checked bag. You have it on you, so it goes through security, and you've got it with you. You know, the great part about, you know, safety and things, you are heading to one of the safest countries in the entire world to visit, in Iceland. So, you know, you think of dealing the pickpockets and things of that nature, should not be an issue here. One of the safest places in all of the world to travel to, which is great. Another reason to go over it. I'm going to kind of talk about the activity level of this tour really quick. You know, Iceland is a great fit for a lot of our travelers, but it is a little bit of how I want to set the expectation, is what I would call independent exploration. You can make this trip as strenuous and active or as leisurely as you want. Collect grades its tours from 1 to 4, 1 being the easiest, 4 being the most strenuous. And the overall activity level of this tour is a 3. This means you're an on-the-go traveler. You don't want to miss a thing. So walking and standing for longer periods of time isn't a big deal. A moderately paced 2.5-hour walking tour covering several miles, hills, or uneven surfaces is no problem for you. So, you know, I want to set the right expectation as far as Iceland goes. Is you can make this your own. When we are in Skogafoss, one of the famous waterfalls, you can walk right out the motor coach, walk in front of the falls, and get gorgeous pictures. Maybe some of you want to climb the 300 stairs to the top of the waterfall and get views over the Atlantic Ocean. That's up to you. That's what I mean by independent explorations. But you do have to watch your step here. It is a lot of uneven terrain. You know, you're thinking you're going through lava fields and traveling through black sand beaches, some really unique landscapes and things. So always be cognizant of your terrain where you're walking around. This is an area I would tell you to, if you're going to take a picture, stop and take a picture. Don't walk and try to take pictures, just from a safety standpoint. And the other reason is to, you know, especially as we make our way up into Stikisholmer, or we'll be down into Vik, into the southern coast, there aren't big, huge hospitals close by. They do have some medical facilities, but some things are, you know, an hour or 2 away. That's just how spread out and isolated some of the southern coast is. So please make sure you'll have access to medical care if you need it. But at the end of the day, knowing that, you know, it's not, it's a different type of infrastructure when you're in Iceland. I think just being very cognizant of your safety and your steps makes a ton of sense. Okay, continuing on, kind of going through the itinerary a little bit, and kind of want to set the table for you. As you arrive in, especially if you are not doing any pre-nights, you'll make your way from the Reykjavik airport to our hotel, which is the Center Plaza in the heart of Reykjavik. You cannot get a better location. It's about a 50-minute flight. 50-minute drive. So you'll land, you'll meet your driver, we'll take our luggage through, and then make our way in there. There should be a welcome check-in desk to help with you all. So, you know, having Lisa and Kristen from MOAA there supporting Greg and Hilda as our tour managers, be kind of a team effort to get you all in. I know some people are doing pre-nights, multiple pre-nights coming in early, and we can help accommodate how we get that information to you. But for the people doing the base tour, there will be a welcome desk, which we're excited for. So if you're doing the standard tour, which you would come in on our normal travel day, Wednesday would be your overnight flight on September 13th. Start the tour on September 14th. Because you get in so early, this is really the only destination that we do this. And this is because your flights land about 5:30, 6 a.m. They get in earlier than they do on a typical European flight. We're actually going to start our tour midday instead of our welcome dinner typically found that evening. So what we're going to do is have our walking tour and lunch. So we'll have lunch and then have our walking tour of the city center of Reykjavik. And that'll be a great way for you to get to meet the group we're traveling with, while you to the wonderful local restaurant, very leisurely paced walking tour. Reykjavik's a very walkable city. You look at the population of Iceland, it's about 380,000 people. 2/3 of those live in Reykjavik. So this is where the vast majority of all of the residents of Iceland live. So it's a bustling city. There's a ton of things to see and do. Our hotel is walking distance to the harbor. There's a beautiful museum, the Reykjavik Museum, that we do not have included. That would be a great free time recommendation for you all. Greg and Hilda are going to do a wonderful job on that side with free time recommendations. They know this destination like the back of their hand. So anything that we don't have included, they'll make great recommendations for you. So, as we get that first day, we might have a little bit of a intro welcome meeting just to go over the ground rules. We might do that as well once we get into lunch that first day, then local city tour. And then the rest of your evening and afternoon is free. Enjoy yourself, take a nap, and relax. Lunch will be included. So on Friday, we're going to do the traverse the Golden Circle. Beautiful natural wonders, Gullfoss, think Velar National Park. And then we'll also make a stop into Geyser. It'll be the Icelandic version of Old Faithful. Really fun, gorgeous day. Gullfoss is a double-sided cascading waterfall. I think you'll be in awe when you see it. It'll be double-sided rainbows. You'll love your time there. And then we'll stop at a family-run dairy farm to enjoy some various cheeses and famous ice cream. And then we'll end with a day with a visit to our stud farm and greenhouse cultivation center, and learning a lot about the Icelandic show horses that are absolutely beautiful animals. Sunday, we'll do the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. So seeing the black sand beaches there, the Snæfellsjökull Glacier. We got the opportunity there. And then we're going to learn, a lot about the local culture. We had the Maritime Museum going over the fishing techniques, preserving Greenland shark, which is a national delicacy as well. We'll have breakfast and dinner included. The next day on Sunday, we're going to get out onto Sjónarhorn Disney Island, looking at marine birds in the bay, seeing scallops and sea urchins, sampling them right out of the sea. You'll spot puffins, hopefully this time of year. And this afternoon,
Sawyer?
Yes, sir.
Are we going to see puffins?
He's got his hat on.
I know it's more May is the time of year. I'm thinking August, it could, or September.
I was just putting on my puffin hat.
Yeah, I've got I can't see everybody's screen, so I hope you get the opportunity. Obviously, it's up to Mother Nature for that to happen, but that would be a really neat experience up there. But I know usually summer is their season, but maybe we'll have some people sticking around to get to see them.
Gotcha.
Perfect. And then this afternoon, it's your choice. I do want to set an expectation for you all here. So this is a choice where you can take a hike up Helgafell Mountain. It's known as the Sacred Hill with your tour manager, or you can spend some time on your own at a Stikkishólmur swimming pool, a facility with both outdoor and indoor swimming pools and thermal pools to soak in. So I do want to talk about this choice on tour. This is an opportunity for you to make an included choice. You will not be paying out of pocket for this. It's already built into the package. We just give you the ability to customize your experience. The hike, when looking at it, from the tour manager's words, it's a 3.75 out of a 5. So 1 being the easiest, 5 being the most strenuous. It's about a 3.75, not factoring in wind and rain. So if you're up to feeling like you want a good active hike, that's probably a great fit for you. If you want to relax a little bit and enjoy the outdoor and indoor thermal pools, you can go to the swimming pool in Stikkishólmur. But very similar to the concept of going to the Blue Lagoon, it'll be happening here as well. It is part of the Icelandic culture that you shower before and after you get into a thermal swimming pool there. So you have to. You will be doing that at the Blue Lagoon, and you will be doing it here at this facility as well. In the Blue Lagoon, they do have private showers, and that's for men and women. They will have private showers. I want to set the right expectation here. At this Stikkishólmur kind of community pool, it is more of a traditional, locker room style open open shower facility. So if that's something that you're comfortable with and you want to enjoy the pool's great. If that's not the right fit for you, maybe you want to take the hike if that's not something you're comfortable with. But that's Europe, that's the culture, and this is especially the culture in Iceland. So just wanted to make sure I was really clear on that expectation for you, because I wouldn't want to see you be blindsided with that. But it is a true community style open air locker room in Stikisholmer. For the shower facilities, it will be private showers at the Blue Lagoon. Great. And next is our opportunity heading down to the southern coast of Vik. So this is our day to really learn about renewable energy with a visit to one of the largest power stations in Iceland, and then the second largest geothermal power station in the world. And this is kind of the unique things when doing a signature group with MOAA. This is something that we do not do on tour. This was built in specifically for your experience to make it extra special. They've added in the opportunity to visit the Icelandic lava show, the only place in the world where you can safely experience hot molten lava in close proximity. So really fun day. And then you're going to make your way into Vik, and I'll set the right expectation for you in Vik. Vik is a village. It's the southernmost village, and it is our gateway to the southern coast of Iceland. What we'll see and do there is absolutely spectacular. And so we're really excited about the opportunities there. On Tuesday, we'll go out to the South Shore to the Skoger Museum. They'll have kind of learn about the way of life in the olden days. You'll see its turf-built homes, domestic artifacts. We'll see beautiful Skogafoss waterfall. That's the one where you'll have to climb about 200 stairs if you want to get to the or to the top. It's one of the tallest in Iceland. You'll see Reynisfjord, beautiful black sand beach. Dyrraley, a beautiful rock formation as well. And then we'll cap it off with a visit to Iceland's fourth largest ice-capped glacier. So you'll be seeing a little bit of everything that day. Breakfast and dinner will be included. And then we'll do out into Jökulsárlón. My favorite thing that you do on tour is your experience to Jökulsárlón, the glacial lagoon. Out of this world cool. Super excited for you for that. That's kind of a full day. That would be probably your longest drive on the southern coast. So that's a full day, well worth it. And then on Thursday, the 21st, we'll go up to Seljalandsfoss, where we'll have the opportunity, if you want to walk behind the waterfall from the inside out. Really unique experience. You can do that. And then in the afternoon, you'll visit the Blue Lagoon, soak up the warm mineral-rich waters in the heart of a dramatic lava field. So same concept. I'll talk about how that works. We have a reservation for you there. Everyone will go in. They do have private showers at the Blue Lagoon. You will shower with a special type of shampoo that protects your hair and things. You do have a towel included, and you also have a towel for the thermal pool that I mentioned earlier. Towels are included on both of those. You can go out. It's like a hot tub. It typically is about 105 degrees or so. So make sure you got your bathing suit. I would have a change of clothes. I would also pack something you could put wet clothes in. Maybe you got a little trash bag or a cloth shopping bag or something that you can put some wet clothes in. And the tour manager will go over this and remind you of plenty of time to have it. But, you will also have a cocktail included there. So you've got a drink included at the Blue Lagoon, and excited about that. It's usually one of the absolute highlights. People love it. You come back looking 10 years younger. It's a great way. You like Benjamin Button when you get to the Blue Lagoon. You put the minerals on. Next thing you know, everybody comes looking out younger. So it's a really unique experience. You'll love it. Then we'll make our way back to Reykjavik and depart home. Of course, our tour manager will be going over departure information for you as well. So they'll be reconfirming all of your departures and everything as far as transfers from that if you have it with Colette. So here are the list of hotels. Again, if you've seen that loose piece of paper, you've got this listed for you if you want to leave that with family or friends. Wonderful hotel location in Center Plaza. If you were to drop a pin in the heart of Reykjavik, you couldn't get a better location than where this hotel is. It is in the dead center of the city. Great restaurants, walking distance. You can walk to the harbor. The Foss Hotel in Stickish-Homer, kind of a, when you look at it, you're very Nordic style hotels. I do want to set that, beautiful 4-star, very nice hotels, but, this doesn't have the infrastructure that a London or a Paris or a Rome does. It's just different. But we've got you in the, especially when we're at Hotel Deerlay and the Foss Hotel, there are not 700 room Hiltons located around this place. So very much, modest Nordic accommodations, but you're in the best places that you can stay in where we're going. So we're really excited about that. We will be doing, outside of the farewell and welcome dinner, typically dinners at Hotel in Iceland. So Hotel Deerlay, you might be making your decisions before you get there, or that first night for the next 3 nights, so they can have enough, all the food ordered correctly and do it as much efficient. It is not a buffet style meal. It would be order from a choice, and you would get to make that decision. And then we go back to the Center Plaza to finish up the program and fly home. We will be doing.
Sawyer?
Go ahead, John.
Yeah. So our understanding, unless it was a change, there's 2 hotels in Vic, right?
So this one, I've just got sample docs off the top of my head. So we got Hotel Deerlay and then Hotel Catla. We're using both.
Yes.
Okay, great. So if some of your hotel could say Hotel Catla here instead of Hotel Deerlay. But I think we're at the Center Plaza for both.
We wanted everybody in the same hotel, but with the number of rooms we needed when we got to Vic, we couldn't find a hotel that could accommodate everyone.
Got it.
So there in Vic, we actually have 2 hotels.
Perfect. So I've stayed at both of them, very nice properties. Hotel Catla is buffet style dinner. They will alternate their menu. Hotel Deerlay is order off of a choice, usually a chicken or a beef or a fish type option. Both have wonderful food, very, very Nordic in their motif, but very nice quality hotels and in the village of Beek. Thanks, John. Appreciate that.
Sure.
We'll have the tour survey. So at the very end, when you arrive home, we want to give you the opportunity to give us your feedback. Let us know what you loved, maybe some things that you had some recommendations about that we can enhance our product with. Please let us know. But now I'm going to kind of get into the nuts and bolts and the nitty gritty of this experience. And this is our travel tips. So, this is your general travel info on this. Luggage. That's the first one I'm going to start with. You are allowed to take your 50-pound checked luggage. So if you're going to check a bag, it will be, please make sure no more than 50 pounds, or you're probably going to get dinged from the airline. Everyone has got a different, kind of flight schedule for the most part. So, one of the questions might be, is our luggage handling included? Typically for Europe it is, but we've noticed, especially in kind of coming out of COVID, it very much carries and differs from airline carrier to airline carrier. So it's not really blanket that I'm going to say absolutely that your bag will be free. It depends on your carrier. You can then take a carry-on as well. Feel free to take a wheeled size carry-on, a normal wheeled size carry-on if you want. Just know, if you look at the dimensions, if you can't keep it above head on the motor coach, which is a much smaller space than what you would see on the airplane, it'll have to go below with the big bags. So if you are going to take a wheeled size carry-on, I would have a personal item, a backpack, a cloth shopping bag, something to keep your rain jacket, some snacks, unique things like that on the side. So I would definitely take care of that. So again, you've got your 50-pound checked luggage. You can then take your carry-on. And then thirdly, you've got your personal item, which can be a backpack or a purse, whatever it might be. Going through security with you, which would be your carry-on, please make sure no more than 3 ounces of any one liquid gels or aerosol is in your carry-on bag, or it will be thrown away. So you want to have a quart-sized bag, no more than 3 ounces of any one liquid in that. Our recommendation is that you take your medication with you through security in your carry-on. So any pertinent, important medication, our recommendation is to take it in original prescription containers. I've been doing this for 12 years, and I've never had anyone catch a flack for taking it in their 7-day planner. But if you want to make sure you're doing that above board, we would recommend original prescription containers. I think worst case, if you want to take a picture of it, of your pill bottle with your cell phone, so you have a copy of it, and then that way, if you took it in your 7-day planner, I don't think they're going to give you all a hard time. But I just want to be transparent on that. But again, 50-pound checked luggage. You can have your carry-on, which can be a larger wheeled size carry-on. Just know if it doesn't fit above your head, which the large wheel side carry-ons will not, we'll keep it below with the big bags. And then a personal item, which could be a backpack or purse. Your vitamins and, a Tylenol, Advil, things like that, that can go in your checked luggage unless you want it on you. That's no worries. But if it is a important medication to you, make sure you have plenty with you, that you have extras, you're fully covered on that. Because if you remember me talking about earlier, there might not be a pharmacy near us where we are. So having that opportunity, if we needed to call something in, we can do that. I would have extras just because in some of these places are a little more remote than it would be in a typical larger European style city that we'll be in. For that 50-pound bag, that is 62 inches in length, height, and width. So no more than 50 pounds, 62 inches. That is your large, normal size suitcase. You see your carry-on luggage can be 17 by 12 by 10. If you see that looks to be a little bit, smaller than typical, that's for the ability to put it above your head in the motor coach. Again, if you're taking a larger wheeled size carry-on, we can keep it below with the big bags. Just wanted to make sure I was clear on that for you all. We will go over what to pack in just a second. I started with medication. Again, I'm not going to read this to you word for word. I know what's what I really want to focus on.
Yeah, and Sawyer, just so you know, we have a couple of questions about what to pack, but what to pack is one of the things we sent to everyone in an email when we invited them to this webinar.
Got it.
So a lot of this we've kind of already gone over. Not that we can't answer questions, and we had one already about rain gear, but yeah, I think we can probably skip what to pack.
Perfect. We can do that. And then making our way through, the other thing is too, I think just kind of hitting you with some high points. I'll kind of wrap up on this is very much a dress and layers type destination. I've been in September twice. So think layers and think that layer of rain gear. If you went, I have a pair of $20 rain pants that I could throw over a pair of blue jeans or khakis, and they're perfect. If I don't need them, great. But it's a very thin layer. Was the best 20, 30 bucks I ever spent. So, I don't think you're going to go wrong on that, but we can talk that at the end if we need to. The other thing, just kind of going over helpful hints, I want to talk about your cell phone mobile carrier. I have AT&T and Verizon, AT&T. When I'm out of the country, it is $10 per day for me to have full cell phone coverage. For me to have the exact same plan that I do in the United States, to have it in Iceland, it would be $10. The same goes for Verizon. Pretty much typical, the same exact policy. Outside of that, I'd love to see you, kind of contact your carrier, because you have two choices. You can either put your phone into airplane mode and just connect into Wi-Fi. I will set the expectation at this point. We will have access to Wi-Fi on board. It can be very spotty as we make our way through, the lava fields and things. Not the greatest service, but we should have access to it. And then they'll have access to Wi-Fi in the lobbies and the rooms of the hotel. if you need anything carrier there. So you connect on Wi-Fi, you put it in airplane mode, it's not going to charge you. iPhone to iPhone, FaceTime calls and things, or using WhatsApp or Skype or any of the apps, Facebook Messenger, that's free. But if you're someone who needs to be connected and you need your phone, make sure you have, you've gone over the international plans and you know that as well. The other, and this world's really changed a little bit. I still out of habit let my financial institution know that I'm traveling internationally, but a lot of times they tell me with the chips and things, you don't have to do it anymore. I still recommend it out of habit just to make sure. Visa, MasterCard, pretty much universally accepted here. American Express and Discover, if that's your main credit card, I would find a backup. Especially, the best, people are going to ask, where's the best place to get krona? Icelandic krona is the currency that we have here. So what you want to do if you, bank with a larger bank, such as Bank of America, like that's who I bank with, they can order you some if you want to take some with you. If you want to wait till you get there, there are ATMs at the airport where you can get Icelandic krona out and have a little bit of cash with you. Your credit card is going to work the vast majority of places you go. You would only want some, local currency, some krona for any street shopping, gratuities. Maybe you want to pay for a meal with it, whatever it might be. But your credit card is pretty much going to work in almost anything that you'll need it for. But just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. Going to kind of keep going. Next is electricity. I want to spend a little bit of time on this. So in Europe, the plug type is C, which has 2 round pins. So, when you look at it, you're looking for a type C adapter and converter. If you're someone like me, I travel with my laptop and my cell phone. They both are 2-prong US plugins. So all I take is the adapter. That's it. I don't have to worry about a converter. If you are taking any hair products, curling iron, straightener, blow dryer, which all the rooms should have, but if you want to take your own, any type of hair product, I would 100% would have a converter box as well. That's going to be kind of the big square rectangular box. So make sure you have it. If you're going to do anything that's 3-prong US or anything that's hair product related. But for cell phones and normal charger things, usually just the adapter will get you through. But you can get this at Target, Walmart, Amazon, anywhere that has a travel section. You should be able to find these adapters and converters very easily. The one thing I do want to mention, if you are bringing a sleep apnea machine, which please do, we want you to sleep as well as you can. We can get you distilled water once we get there. The tour managers can help with that. And B, I would pack a small extension cord if you're taking a sleep apnea machine. In Europe, you're not guaranteed to have a plug-in right next to your bed. So that's why we say that. From the currency standpoint, the krona, just so you know, you're looking about 10,000 krona equals about $8. That's what you're looking at. So, you used to be about 10 to 1. Our dollar goes pretty well here. Iceland things can be expensive though, just to be okay on that. And that's just because they import so much. There's only so much that comes out of this destination. So, when we talk about meals and things, that will probably be on the, kind of want to go over this section. I'm going to finish up with gratuities. I want to kind of go over the budget for meals not included. So we pretty much have breakfast. Every day will be taken care of. About half of your dinners. Most of your dinners will be taken care of in Iceland. Lunch is typically out on your own. So here are the ranges for any meal not included. It's 10 to 30 US dollars for lunch, 20 to 50 US dollars for dinner. Just wanted to give you the per person budget. A lot of times for lunch, it's a lot of soups and breads. It's usually all you can eat soup when you go to somewhere, sandwiches, fish, beef, a little bit of everything, but a lot of unique types of seafood. If you're a seafood person, you'll have a lot of wonderful things to try. Water's completely safe to drink. And please, if you have any food allergy, please let your tour manager know so we can make sure any meal component has that taken care of as well. But that's kind of the budget for meals not included. And lastly, I want to talk about our tour managers and the gratuities for them. You have Greg and Hilda, both have been with us for a while. Greg has been with the company 19 years, and has been my guide in Iceland before. He does a wonderful job. Hilda is local to the region. She is Icelandic, and she will do a fantastic job as well. I think you're going to love the time that you spend with both of them. That's a 24/7 job that they have. When we get in at night, they're going to, be working on the next few days of confirmations and making sure everything's perfect for you. But I really want to set the expectation they're half history professor and half hotel concierge. So they're great for free time, any restaurant recommendations you need. Hey, Greg, we have some time in Reykjavik. What do we do today? They will take care of that for you. I'm happy to help. They truly shine in that emergency situation. If you need anything at all, they're there for you. But if you've got questions on Icelandic history and, maybe it's on the glaciers or the lava, any of the unique stuff, the volcanoes, they are rock stars in their field. And this is how you show your appreciation for all the hard work that they're going to give you on tour. So all the included features of the land have been taken care of. That's luggage handling, any gratuities for your wait staff for any included meals already been taken care of. What's not been taken care of is your tour manager and your motor coach driver. Here's kind of the basic guidelines. To express appreciation for your tour manager's delivery of excellent service, customary guideline is $5 to $8 or equivalent in local currency per person per day. And you would do that at the end of your tour. The motor coach driver is $3 to $5 per person per day or equivalent in local currency. And that's done at the end of the day, at the end of the tour as well. And for our local guide that will be joining us in Reykjavik, just a couple of krona, a couple of dollars. That's it. That's plenty for them. You would most want to go above and beyond for the tour manager and then your driver. Those are the key ones there. So what makes a lot of sense to me is if you want to take 2 envelopes and pack it in your suitcase, maybe you are going to, people ask, well, is it better to give it in local currency or is it better to give it in US dollars? At the end of the day, they are going to be grateful for anything that they give you. They will be happy to take care of that, knowing that Hildur lives locally. She would probably prefer it in krona. If Greg travels throughout Europe and the US, Greg's happy, based out of Europe, but he travels so much, he's happy with USD as well. But if you have krona for both of them, that's great. If you have USD, US dollar for both of them, that is no worries at all. They are grateful for whatever you have. I recommend you've got the budget here, have 2 envelopes, set the money aside. Right when you get there, go to the ATM. You know what your budget guideline is going to be. And if you felt like Greg and Hilda went above and beyond, maybe you want to give them just a little bit more. But that's the past guideline, so you know it. And that way you're not at the last day trying to find an ATM, because here's what's happened. Once you get out of Reykjavik, it's going to be, you could find an ATM, but it's not a guarantee in the southern coast and Stikisholmer, because these are village type towns. They're not big cities. So if you are banking on getting to an ATM later, I would take advantage of my ATM time in Reykjavik at the beginning of the trip. That would be my recommendation for you, so they can take care of for it. but every gratuity for any luggage handling, for any included meals, any of that's taken care of. The only thing it's not included for is your tour manager, your driver, and any local guides. So, but they are great. They are going to be with you 24/7. If you need anything at all, let them know. They're happy to help, and they'll of course be assisting with Lisa and Kristen as well. You know, just some things here. Iceland's 5 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time. The highest elevation on tour is 600 feet in the Skoger region that you'll see. Great recommendations for shopping, all of that there. You know, lastly, just kind of want to set, you know, kind of looking at the weather and things. I think you're looking at mid 50s to low 40s is a pretty safe example, expectation on weather. So, you know, when we go into as far as packing and things, think layers, think practical, think comfortable. There is nothing you need that is very fancy for this trip, in my opinion. Think practical, think things that you can get dirt on it, and, you know, being the unique stuff, you're going to black sand beaches and farms and walking through national parks and things. Comfortable non-slick walking shoes, rain gear, and layers. If you've got that, you'll be good to go. I would have a beanie, like a hat to probably put over my ears if I could, but, you know, an umbrella is going to get eaten up in Iceland. So make sure you've got, you know, a hooded rain jacket. And I would encourage you, if you don't already have a pair of rain pants, to take them. And I have the cheapy kind that I can just throw over a pair of normal pants, and they work great. So couldn't recommend it enough. So I just kind of was going through that, John. If you want to touch on questions, or you can add on anything else, we can.
Sure. Okay. So on the rain pants, somebody asked the question: should they take them with them on the bus every day?
I would encourage it.
Okay.
Because the statement is, if you don't like the weather in Iceland, give it 10 minutes and it's going to change, will ring true. You're going to have in an hour wind, rain, sunshine, wind, rain, you know, it's just going to come and go. What I do in the 2 times I've been there, let's say I was in a pair of blue jeans and it was pretty and sunny outside. It maybe has changed by the afternoon. I can sit on the coach and throw it on. The other thing is, because I was wearing the really thin stuff, not insulated, you know, and at that point it became an extra layer, and I was comfortable in them. You know, I kind of just ended up wearing them a lot.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes back to what you said. If you have even just like any kind of carry-all bag, you know, even the days you're not going to, like the Blue Lagoon, it's nice to have stuff. I mean, I remember when I was in Iceland, I literally had like a rain kind of like poncho I took every single day, and had it on the bus, just in case. I mean, the great thing about a lot of that rain gear, if it's not lined, it doesn't take up a lot of room. We had some questions I'd like to get to, but a couple of things before we get there. And we did talk a little bit about attire. I just wanted to go back and make something clear, because we did get a couple of questions on this. And that's the fact that you're on vacation. The attire for the trip is casual. Sawyer, correct me if I'm wrong. There's nowhere that we're going to go to eat or to see or anything that's going to require anything. So, you know, wear whatever you're comfortable in. Obviously, we talk about, you know, light jackets, rain gear, layers, and all that other kind of stuff. But certainly don't think that you need to bring a sports coat or like a collared dress shirt or sundresses or any of that kind of stuff. You're on vacation. We're going to be out doing a lot during the day, so wear whatever's comfortable. We did have a question about seating on the buses, and it's for those of you who logged in early. You might have caught Sawyer and I talking about this. Typically what they do when they do tours is you'll get on the bus and they'll have a seating chart. And every day that seating chart kind of rotates around. And I can tell you that last year when we did the tour of Germany, we moved away from that. This isn't a group with a bunch of strangers. You know, we had, as I said, last year we did tour of Germany, same kind of thing. We had 2 buses. People met people during the meals or dinner or just in the, you know, breakfast, because, you know, everybody goes to breakfast together. or while they're sightseeing and ended up wanting to sit next to other people. And we don't want to make this overly complicated. So you'll get on a bus. Everybody on that bus will be a MOAA member. Friends you haven't met yet, as I like to say it before. So we pretty much just allow people to sit wherever they want to sit. If I'm correct, there's 2 empty seats on both buses. Is that not correct, Sawyer? Something like that. It's the buses are full. But you know, but there's always going to be a choice, I guess, where you sit. You know, if we have an issue on one or the other buses, where a lot of people on that bus think it would be more fair or equitable or whatever you want to say, if we did some kind of seat rotation, I mean, that's part of the reason that Kristen and Lisa are there, that somebody you can go to with those concerns, kind of thing. But I can tell you that having done this just last year, I was with the group for 10 days. People really just like the get on the bus and sit wherever. You're going to get to know everybody on your bus. So it really doesn't matter who you sit next to, kind of thing. So that shouldn't be an issue on that. So then we kind of get into the questions, and an early question that came on right when we first started, and I asked a follow-up and didn't get an answer. So George, if you can follow up, but the question was, if we take Flybus, where will it drop us off? Also, where do we pick it up to get back to the airport? I do not know what Flybus is. Is that like an airport transport system in Reykjavik?
I believe so. I believe it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So seeing that ours, I would think Reykjavik Excursions does. I just need to know, is that with with us, or is that on something they've booked on their own?
Well, I think since my question was, do you have COLAT transfers? Because if they have COLAT transfers, then we already talked about how COLAT transfers go. So George, if you're still on, it looks like you are. Can you follow up on that and let us know? Another option, if we don't get that answer today, would be just call in and talk to your agent and ask them that question. We would recommend getting COLAT transfers if it's not too late. I know cabs or whatever are fairly expensive. Okay, so we answer the question, blah, 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 going through all these. Okay, exchange monies, and we'll go to the new ones. Okay. Okay, so we have a number of questions. And this one, I think you're going to tell me that we might want to go to Greg on it. But somebody asked, they're arriving early, recommendations of what to do in Reykjavik that won't be on the walking tour.
Got it. Yeah, I want to lean on Greg for this one too, just because it's been a couple of years since I've been, and I don't want to say something. I know the museum's great, the harbor's right there.
Yeah.
Hallgrímskirkja Church is a good, healthy walk. It is walkable, in my opinion. I don't know if we're going to do that on tour or not. Typically, we don't do it in the walking tour. We motor coach it on the way back into town. Those things I just don't know, to be determined yet. Greg is going to be great. Greg and Hildor will be great on helping that. And I would imagine some communication within probably 2 weeks before you depart, with an opportunity for you to ask a question like that. I would lean on them.
Okay. I'm getting text questions, so I'm getting emails, texts, and online, but we will get them all answered. Okay.
One is, will we have assistant with luggage? And yes, your luggage. The one thing I'll need you to help with your luggage on is when you get through customs and grab your bag, getting it, if we're doing a big group pickup or whatever it might be, probably getting it to that vehicle to then drop you off at the Reykjavik hotel. From that point on, you will not touch your bag until it's time to depart to fly home.
Okay, that's your bag though. That's the one bag, and I was going to follow up on that. Yeah,
luggage.
Yeah. So you check into the hotel, your bag will be there when they'll do the thing where you put your bag out the night before, so they'll come pick them up and they'll be on the bus. But the luggage you will be responsible for is that carry-on, be it the roller bag or the bag that you bring on the bus. But your one big 50-pound bag per person, it's designed so that will show up at your room, and you put it outside your room, and that will move around. And then how many lagoons we will visit and what length of time will we be at each. Okay, so we have the Blue Lagoon. Sawyer went through that, kind of gave us the time. And then you have the option Is it considered a lagoon where you have the pool and the hot springs, or is it
I
more
would
of a hot springs?
I don't want to be incorrect. I would think probably calling it the hot springs is one, but I would think it probably feels like more of a community, type hot spring than it is the Blue Lagoon.
So one. So since that's some of the same person who asked for options, maybe you want to do a lagoon there. There. One other thing about the hot springs, I know you mentioned what the temperature was. Don't want to scare anyone out. One thing you'll find is the pools are much larger than the springs. So you can move closer to the spring itself and it gets warmer. And then when you get too hot, you move further away from it again, because the further away from you are the actual spring, the cooler it gets. Okay. If you're looking at the questions, do you see Thomas's question, Sawyer?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So we do not go there, correct?
Do not.
Okay. So the question was, do we go to the Holsis Tidal Lagoon? That would be a no. We go to the Blue Lagoon. We have the option of the other pool in the hot spring. With so much to see there, going to one lagoon seems sufficient. Tipping at restaurants. Obviously, you mentioned if it's part of the package, tips are included. I know Europe overall they become much more welcoming of tips. Where it almost seems like in a lot of places in Europe, locals don't tip, but tourists do. So, what's your say on Iceland as far as tipping at restaurants?
I would think it's probably a no. I think let's lean on Greg and Hildor for that, but I would think it's probably a no.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, Jim, I'll take care of that on our end. Somebody got Lisa's tour book, so there you go by mistake. If anybody has an issue with your tour books, let us know. I know those were all set from Colette. We will get it figured out if something is amiss with those.
John, can I go back? Just like I'm seeing different things. And I just can't remember off the top of my head the last time I was there. I would think worst case, you're probably looking at a 10% tip for Iceland. I see differing opinions on this online.
Well, as I said, I mean, it's sort of the Americanization of these restaurants where, I mean, I've been to Europe a lot lately, a lot of different places. I escorted 3 groups last year, 2 of which were in Europe. And it's almost as if, as I said, the locals still don't tip because it might be the policy in that country. Let's say like Portugal. So in Portugal, they do not have a tipping culture. And yet when our group comes in of a group of Americans, they know that a lot of Americans tip. And as we all know, people aren't going to turn away tipping. And, we had people in the group that would ask. And if you ask someone, should I give you $10? Tip or $5 tip or whatever, the answer is almost always going to be yes. So a lot of that goes, but I mean, you know what? I think that's a great thing, Sawyer. We'll kind of talk to Greg and Hilda while we're there. Okay. Same question that we had kind of earlier, arriving a day or two early. In order to do great visits, what will we be visiting on the first day in Reykjavik? So on that walking tour.
It's really city center. It's you've got City Hall. You've got the ability to see kind of a little bit of a neighborhood there. Hallgrímskirkja Church is at the very top of the hill where the famous Leif Erikson statue is. You are really in the area of the hotel. So if you want to get off the beaten path on your free time, there isn't anything that you would see twice. The other thing is, I do not believe we will be going and visiting a very nice museum there as well. So that's not included in our city walking tour. So if you want to do a museum and things, you can. We don't spend a ton of time at the harbor if you want to do it. And we do not cruise out of Reykjavik on this program. So if there's if anybody's still running a type of boating experience, I would think that wouldn't be anything that would interfere.
Excellent. How many people are on the tour and how many buses will there be? It's easier to answer the second question. There'll be 2 buses. Right now, I think we are at 90 people. Is that pretty much close to that number, maybe a little under it. I can tell you from experience, for example, last year on tour of Germany, we had 4 people who did not make it. One was a flight issue, one was a health issue. So, but how much, the buses have 48 people, right?
Yeah, it seems to be about
46?
mid-80s. Low to mid-80s is the number.
Low to mid-80s. Okay. All right. Then under 90. I think what it was is I think there was 46 seats on each bus, which would have been 92. So you're right. I know we have at least 4 spots still available. So that's approximate. Okay. So George came back to us. He said bus. So that's a bus service from the airport to city center. I have no knowledge of that whatsoever. I would assume if it's a bus service, they have a number of stops. Would they not?
Yes. So I've taken their bus before. So, it's about a 50-minute ride if you're going public transportation from Reykjavik Airport to city center. They typically have one big metro bus station that they kind of get you to, and then there might be another bus that runs from the down. So it might take a change of one bus, or they might have something that goes straight to your hotel. They could be running right to the center plaza. I would just check on that. I just, again, not certain if that's, without seeing it, if that's a Colette thing or an on the own thing. I would think it's
on their own thing. If they're taking the bus, it's on their own thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how long at the Blue Lagoon?
A couple hours. It's about 2 hours.
Yeah. But one thing we always want to say that, when you talk about managing expectations is you're going to be on a bus with 40 people. And we have a schedule that we try to keep to. But I can tell you that, as funny as it sounds, it wasn't funny at the time. But when we had the tour of Germany, the very first day, the very first place we stopped, we lost a couple. And they apparently did not catch where we were going to meet again. And, in a day like Blue Lagoon Day, where we are going to multiple stops before we get there, if everyone shows up on time, if we say we're going to get here at 9:30, we're leaving here at 10:30, and everyone gets back at 10:30, then we stay on schedule. But we fight the issue of if somebody is 10 minutes late at the first one and somebody else is 10 minutes late at the next one, when we get to the end of the day, we don't have as much time as scheduled because obviously we're not going to leave people. So hopefully we'll have a motivated group that shows up on time. Somebody doesn't get lost, whatever that case might be. So everything, when we talk about these itineraries, is approximations. We don't know what traffic's going to be. We had an issue with an accident that slowed us down from one to the next, but we have a plan that we're going to go on, an order of what we're going to see. And so the plan is, if everything goes according to schedule, we'll have a couple of hours.
Yeah. So the thing for us that dictates so much of this in this region is weather.
Yeah.
And that's road safety weather. You all are so early. This is a destination we go in November, December, January, February, where it's much a harsher winter then. But we also want to be in places when if we got an opportunity to work some things in a different order, where we can be somewhere when it's not spitting rain versus not. It makes total sense for us to have some flexibility to think on the fly.
Will the tour guides use microphone speakers? Yes, they have the headsets, so everybody can hear.
Not in Iceland for us. Just want to be clear on that. So, from what I understand, we will not have whisper headsets in Iceland.
Oh, okay. I must be confusing that with Ireland, which I'm leaving for in 3 days.
Yes.
So, okay. So that's a no on the whisper headsets. How long is the hike to and back Helgafell Mountain?
Yeah, so good question. It is about a 300-yard elevation, not change wise. It would be probably an opportunity to get a good hike in, and then you have an opportunity. You can see a small country church, a kind of unique family homes. It's more of a getting off the beaten path and doing a hike. I probably be an hour hike, probably nothing. It's nothing too strenuous.
Kristen's still here. What time? Well, I'm sorry, I jumped one ahead. What time will we finish the city tour on day 2 and be delivered to our hotel?
Safe estimate to say right now, we are looking, I would think that is mid-afternoon. Yeah.
Which kind of goes back to my thing of, we'll get everybody back to the hotel. We have dinner on day 2, don't we? Right?
No, it's just the lunch, walking tour, rest of the day free. So
I count that as day 1. I forgot day 1's when you leave the United States. Okay. Okay, so I think that's that one. What time and where do we meet on the first morning? This is one where I was going to ask Kristen. I thought this was information we sent out, but Kristen, didn't we have a time that we were telling people to meet? But that was to meet for lunch, right?
That's lunch at 11 a.m.
Okay, so as far as the first morning, we will have, as Sawyer said, there'll be tables in the lobby. That's some combination of Greg and Hilda and Kristen and Lisa will be at. So there should be someone there in the lobby when you arrive, unless you arrive at some crazy time, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., which technically is that morning, but there will be people in the morning to check you in. But the official meeting time is 11 for lunch. So, but if you get there earlier, obviously, which is recommended, we can get you checked in, and you'll actually check in twice. You'll check in with Colette for your tour. We typically have 2 tables, and then there'll be a check-in for MOAA Vacations, because we basically have different things for giving you out. And at the MOAA Vacations check-in is where they're going to give you your name tags, maybe tables side by side, who knows what, because you guys have the other stuff to give out. I think that answers that one. Oh, somebody just saying they had to go. Thanks, Jim.
Can I take that one?
Yeah.
From Mr. Cunningham. So I want to explain. We are going to take care of, once you put your big bag on the bus, that's the one Colette's going to take care of, and all the porters at the hotel. Your hand luggage, which would be a backpack, your wheeled carry-on and things, that is your responsibility to get those to your hotel room. But the big bags, we've got the heavy bags.
Exactly. By the way, I don't see any requests for me to put the puffin hat on again.
Can I talk about the possibility of seeing the Northern Lights?
Well, I was going to talk about that one.
Well, then why don't you go ahead, John?
And then you can make any corrections to what I said.
Sounds good.
Okay, well, I'll kind of do the setup. I'll set it up and let you finish it. So when we first started about putting this tour together, there's really 2 Iceland itineraries. There's one during the summer and then one during the winter. And during the winter is where it's, every single day, it's almost like a hunt for the Northern Lights kind of thing. The issue in the summer, of course, if there's never darkness, you can never see the Northern Lights. So part of the reason we picked when we did is we wanted to do kind of a hybrid of the 2. So it is late enough in the year that it's possible to see the Northern Lights if the weather permits. And that's the big thing. But since it's September, what it would be is, and I know I kind of talked about this webinar as well, if you watch the Iceland webinar, is we're certainly going to try. And so someday we're going to get on the bus, or at some point during that day, if the tour guides think that it's possible that we'll see them that evening, they'll let everybody know, and they'll basically say, if you want to try seeing the Northern Lights, it's supposed to be a clear evening. We should be able to see them. Everybody meet in the lobby at 10 or 10:30 or whatever time it is, 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. or whatever it is. And then they will take the group, away from the hotel. How it depends on what day it is or whatever, but certainly try to see them if it's a possibility. Kind of walk the group, a little away from the hotel so it's a bit darker. So we're certainly going to try. But, even if you go in the winter where the whole purpose is going, if the weather is bad for 7, 8 straight days, you're not going to see them. So if we can, we will. So Sawyer, I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, no, I think that's spot on, John. And the only thing I would add to it is, historically, especially in this time of year, It could be as simple as walking away from the hotel, getting away from a street light, and being able to see it right here too. So the tour managers, there's apps and things that they follow the forecast, and they know if it's worth, they're not going to take you out if we have zero shot. We're going to let you sleep in and not ruin your night. But if there is any remote possibility that we can do it, especially on the southern coast, we're going to go out and chase the lights more often, and not, hopefully we're not even having to go driving down the road. We can do it right there at the hotel, being under, the close proximity.
Yeah. And I think that's the important thing. I mean, let's just hope that there's an evening where there is. And as Sawyer said, I mean, the tour guides are going to be monitoring that every day. And, they'll let you know during the day. You'll be on the bus with them and they're going to go, it looks like a good night. We're going to meet in the lobby kind of thing. Janet, Kristen, can you send Janet Arnett the clothing recommendation email again? That's easy. I don't remember the date it went out, but I mean, that's easy enough to send that again.
I will.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just said I will.
Oh, there you go. I didn't see your picture pop up. I was like, what was that? I'm confused by the next question as far as arrangements for those with hearing loss and use of hearing.
Yeah, I think just if we don't have whisper headsets, the unique thing about this tour is I kind of earlier called it independent exploration. So a lot of our commentary is done getting from point A to point B on the motor coach, because once you get there, we will do a little bit there, but it's almost, here it is in this incredible destination. Go see it. How do you want to climb to the top of the hill and get the view? Do you want to get in front and take the picture? We can kind of let everybody be independent. Once they get there, we'll kind of go over everything on the way. So it's not like it would be in Rome where every street corner is a different unique piece of artwork.
I would just, not knowing what bus you're on, I would recommend on anything such as that hearing or any other request for, assistance, that you'd let, the tour guide and then the MOAA rep both know. And then we can make sure that any information that you receive any information that's there. So like if you're on the bus with Greg and Kristen, if that's the pairing that if I remember correctly, just let them both know. And then when they stop, if they have something to say, it's easy enough to just make sure that you caught everything that was said. That's why everybody's there. Richard, Sawyer, it's not at the hotel, correct? The pool and the hot tub or the hot springs.
No, it's not.
Thank you for not making me try to pronounce the name of the swimming pool.
Stickish Homer. There you go.
That's what I meant. That's what I was thinking. Is Greg available on September 12th for city viewing help? I'm going to go.
The good thing is I would think Greg will be passing his contact information along shortly. If if he's available and not running an errand, getting prepared for the tour, or helping Hilda or whoever, how they need to get organized, they will always make themselves available to assist you with anything you need.
Well, that was different than what I was going to say.
That's a 24/7 job.
It is. I was just going to say, keep in mind that if they're flying overnight to get there on the 12th, they might want to take part of a day. I'm not really sure.
Greg, now that I remember it, Greg won't be getting in till the 12th, I believe.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, if you had questions, it might be better to send them to us, and we'll try getting Greg's answer in remote. And I also don't fully understand when you say city viewing help. If you're asking for recommendations, somebody else asked for that, and we already have it. I already have it on my list that we're going to go to Greg, just because he's the one who's currently in the States and easier to get a hold of, and ask him for some suggestions in addition to what Sawyer's already recommended. But as I said, he's going to be on an overnight flight from the States. He's going to get in. He's getting prepared for 8-9 straight days of being 24/7. So it probably would be better served, I think, to try getting those questions to him in advance. So anyway, Well, thank you, Liz. Another person saying we did a great job.
Thank you,
Are
Liz.
hiking poles worth taking?
You know, John, that's kind of your call. I mean, it's one of those things. Is it better to have it, not need it, than need it and not have it? I just don't know how much space it takes up, or any of that.
Collapsible though; they're pretty small.
Yeah.
If they help you walk, sort of like my dad uses a hurricane or something like that. As I said, I've seen them that fold up pretty small. So yeah,
no, if it's gonna make you feel more comfortable and safe, I highly encourage you to take it.
And we'd hate somebody to say, "Oh, I'd walk to the far side of the geyser if I had walking poles, but I don't have them, so I'm just going to stand and watch it from this one angle." Ice cold beer in Iceland. That's a yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I've heard, right, Sawyer?
That is a yes.
I had a friend tell me they had ice cold beer there. Another thank you for a great job. I echo that, Sawyer. I thought you did a great job.
Thank you. Not only do they have ice cold beer, you might even be able to. There's a bar in the center of town, 30-second walk from the hotel, that probably has NFL on. If we're getting on Sunday, I don't know what day we get in.
Okay.
So you'll have cold beer and football somehow.
There you go. I don't think it was in the information we sent out. I don't think it's in the brochure. Somebody's asking for phonic for the most common words and phrases.
So we have some things at the very end of our documents.
You do?
Greg and Hildur will probably have some type of thing. 90% of the people they interact with are going to be English speaking. It's just if you want to make an effort to say something in there. It would be very rare if they met someone that didn't speak English.
Yeah, I didn't get to the Southern coast, but when we were there, it was never an issue of. But my daughter was along and she likes doing that kind of stuff, so she learned a bunch of the phrases, I think, just to show off, so she knew how to say stuff that I didn't know how to say. Okay. I think that's it as far as questions. And then we had the people that emailed them, and I want to go through and make sure we answered all of those as well. I think we did. Okay, carry-on size. That was in the information we sent out, right, Kristen?
Sawyer answered that today.
Okay. Attire for dinners, lockers at Blue Lagoon, transfers of
yes,
Ubers
there
if
are
arriving
lockers
early. Sorry, I'm reading off. I can't see you. Sorry, I was reading off an email. Oops. Somebody asked about transfers by Uber. When I went, I took an Uber from the hotel, from the airport to the hotel and back again. It wasn't inexpensive. And it's it's a 50-minute Uber, and it is, Iceland's not inexpensive. We'll just say that. So, check-in tables, yes. Mobility on and off the bus. Are there showers in the hotel? Stand-up showers. I would say kind of a mobility on and off the bus. Certainly between the tour guides and the Brenco host, or excuse me, the MOAA vacation host, somebody will be there to assist if you need it. But tours by nature are not designed for people that are in wheelchairs or require walkers or something like that. If that's the case, you need to let us know as soon as possible. But it's, what is it? 3 or 4 steps in and on and off the bus is what's required. So, Sawyer, anything on that?
No, nothing that comes to mind.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we had people during the booking process who were asking if it was wheelchair accessible, and unfortunately, Europe, Iceland included, is not as wheelchair accessible.
It's not, and so essentially what I see is when you get to these national parks, they are untouched. It's not like in America where you got guardrails and this and that. You've got to really watch your step. You can get it's one loose gravel step and it's not a good ending. So it's just not a right fit in my opinion. So I would think,
and it's sort of like back to the walking poles or whatever. I mean, don't hurry. Someone in the group will, with 2 people, You know, if Greg is leading the group, then Kristen, you know, will kind of hang out in the back just to make sure. But we had somebody fall on the cobblestones on Germany last year. Luckily, they were not, you know, hurt at all. But we, you know, don't hurry, take your time. A lot of the destinations we're going to go to are the bus is going to stop, people can get off. You're kind of on your own. If the rest of the group starts getting ahead of you, don't worry, we're not going to leave you behind. And you know, don't be afraid to ask for assistance. We don't want anybody to get hurt. And the last one is, are the showers in the hotel stand-up showers? Actually, I think what your experience is going to be is if you wanted a tub, you would have difficulties finding tubs. As far as showers, I think from my experience, almost all of the hotels are stand-up showers, are they not?
I would think so. I mean, it just depends. The Southern Coast, you know, it's True Village. One of the two could be different there, but I would think Center Plaza not.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I'm still on email. I'll come back. Oh, more questions. Here we go. I don't even know what. No, Kristen will not be taking money to buy Moen's drinks. So sorry, that's not in her job description. So, but you know what? If you ask nice, she might join you for a cocktail, even though she's working. You might be able to convince her to have one. So there you go. Okay, George asked a question, getting into your hotel room and why we have to wait for lunch. I don't know what time you're going to arrive, but I can tell you that the day the tour starts on the 24th, correct? No, 14th. Check-in's around 3. So the plan would be is people come to the hotel, they check in, they'll take your bags then if you want to wander around the city or do something. We'll meet at 11 for lunch, we'll do the walking tour, and then when we get back from the walking tour, everyone's rooms are hopefully available. So no, I guess that's a simple no on that one. I guess I could have just said no.
I thought that I had heard that rooms would be available earlier in the day. Is that not correct?
We will be making every effort possible to have people's rooms ready on arrival.
Yeah.
Cannot be guaranteed, but we will make the effort.
Yeah, we want to manage expectations, but yeah, I mean, we dealt with the same thing in Germany, so we'll get you in your room as quickly as we can. There's no issues with selfie sticks, are they?
Yeah, happy for.
But keep in mind, Kristen and Lisa are there to snap pictures for you, and so are the tour guides. Trust me, the tour guides are used to people asking them to take questions all the time. Plus, keep in mind, you're going to have 40 friends, your fellow Moans on board, who will snap pictures for you as well. It is going to be a great trip. I agree. Are there elevators in the hotels? There are elevators in the hotels. Yes, that's a yes.
Yes, except for Hotel Deerley because it's only one floor.
Yeah.
So got nothing to.
You know, I should have gone with what I was originally going to say. I was going to say if the hotel has more than one floor, it has an elevator.
Yeah.
But, there you go. All righty. Look at this. We always end right on time. 2 minutes to go. There you go.
John, I just want to wrap up and say thank you all for traveling with us. John and Kristen, the team here from the agent side, everyone we've interacted with, honor and a privilege to have everybody with us. And we cannot wait to welcome all the Moans on tour here in just a few weeks.
Tori, I want to thank you for taking a couple hours out of your busy schedule to go through everything with everybody today. I know from past, everybody really appreciates it. So we're going to.
Yep, I appreciate it.
They keep saying great job. I keep thinking we have any questions. All right, we're going to tape this and send it to everybody so you can rewatch it. Have a wonderful time in Iceland, everyone, if I don't talk to you before then.
Safe travels, everyone. Thank you so much.